long enough.
Just back live at the 45th Andrews-Atkins Shield at the Launceston Workings Club. We just saw a classic match between Denny Main and Charlie Chafe. Charlie got up to win 3 frames to 2. We've started the second or the last session of the live stream game, and Cale Barrett, the Tasmanian snooker champion, is playing Ryan Thomerson from Victoria. Of course, Ryan, one of Australia's best players. And joining me in commentary is Phil. Tony. Was close. No, not Tony Friedman, who's of course the father of Mark, who we saw in action earlier today against Alex Pace. So yeah, good to have you having a chat alongside you there, Tony. We're actually sitting back watching it on TV. Meanwhile, the table's up yonder somewhere.
Yeah, thanks for the welcome. It's a great event, and I feel honoured to be part of it, and bringing Mark in, and he's been so excited about it over the last few weeks. He's saying, we're getting close to Tassie, we're going to Tassie, and really looking forward and practicing like crazy, and he's very eager, and it's good to see Alex as well. Alex has just come right up. We've watched Alex for the last 3 or 4 years at the Australian Juniors, and Alex has a very keen eye, and he's very eager, and he's current Australian champion as well, and Mark's got his eyes on that trophy. He's up and coming, and you can tell that Alex is dedicated, and Mark's got the same dedication, and there's a few of the boys that are coming right up, and Cale's a perfect example of coming up through the juniors with Ryan. We've been to a few of the Australian championships, junior championships, with Ryan, and obviously his father, who's come and coached and helped the kids with queuing and a bit of coaching, along with Bob Turpin from Queensland. Bob's a great advocate for the game. Ryan just potted a nice black there. Bob's a fantastic ex-billiards player and a coach, and my daughter, who was, she was 16 at the time, she won a couple of Australian ladies championships under 18, I must say, and she'd never touched billiards, and some of the 11 and 12-year-olds had never had a game of billiards in their life, and Bob said, "I'll have you all playing billiards within 10 minutes." So, and sure enough, it took probably about 5 minutes with each child, and he had them doing half ball in offs from the D, red ball on the blue spot, and they were doing half ball in offs full length of the table within probably 6 to 7 minutes, and that was every one of them. Not one of them failed the test. So it's not that hard to play billiards. It's hard to play billiards well, but it's not that hard to play billiards, and it's becoming very popular now, as we see with the Oceania. They've got more billiards entrants than they have snooker entrants at the moment. So it's really taken off big time, but just shows that, if the kids can do it, 11, 12, 13-year-olds who've never played billiards and can do half ball in offs within 5 or 6 minutes, and they enjoyed it. They absolutely loved it. Have you met Bob Turpin at all?
No, I haven't. I've heard of him, but it sounds like a good innovation, Tony. So that's great.
Yeah, he's come to all the junior championships that we've had in Albury. Now we've got the fantastic venue in Adelaide, the match room. Yeah,
I've refereed there. They had the World Billiards Championship there the previous year, where got an invite over there. It's pretty impressive setup, actually.
Yeah, it's fantastic setup. And now we've got the latest thing, which I don't know if too many people know about this. The Yarraville Club is in the midst of setting up a brand new room. They're moving the room out of the club, away from the pokey venue and the function rooms, and they're setting up their own club about 200 metres down the street. and it's going to be the new headquarters for Victorian Billiards and Snooker, and obviously hold some major tournaments there as well. So all's a good sign for the billiards and snooker scene, with the the match room there, and the in South Australia, and the new headquarters for the VBSA in Melbourne, and some of the clubs in Sydney are still going really strong and doing up the tables, and and so there's tournaments are being spread everywhere, and I'm not sure where the South Pacific Open is this year. I'm not quite sure. I think it's in Sydney as well.
Yep.
And now with obviously Albury, that's just dropped into the pocket. It's nice.
Nice break running at 44 just at the moment while we've been talking, and
Ryan.
He's hit them pretty well,
and he seems to have his touch around the table now.
Just with the Yarraville thing, that's a Christoffi involvement.
Christoffi's involved in Chris is a lovely chap. He's been involved in all the major tournaments so far around Melbourne, and also been involved in a tournament in South Australia just recently, and running the Revention ranking tournament, which means that every time you perform well in any tournament around Australia that he's involved with, you get Revention points, and the players with the most points at the end of the season play off for quite a substantial amount of money. I think it's around the $10,000 mark, and it's all sponsored by Chris Christoffi. And those of you who don't know Chris, he's been an A-grade player for Brunswick Club for many years, and also a very, very close friend of Neil Robertson, who's playing professionally overseas. Christoffi is one of his sparring partners, obviously around the same age, and very close friends. Whenever Neil's over, he normally comes over for the City of Melbourne. The Australian National, which is held at. Just missed there. So he's just finished that break on 53. Yeah, great break. So often you see Neil and Chris Christoffi catching up and having a few words, and Chris has been a great supporter of the game.
Yeah, no, good name. I've known him from a few years back. Just in case you've joined the live telecast, we're in Launceston Workers Club in Tasmania for the 45th Andrews-Atkins, which is a Victoria Tassie match, named in honour of Harry Andrews and Ron Atkins, both legends in the game of billiards and snooker over a long period of time. Ron's here with us today and was here last night, which is fantastic. Victoria have got Tassie by the scruff of the neck right at the moment, but we're not entirely out of it. It'd be good to see Cale hit back here after Ryan made a quick fire 53 or 54.
Cale looks quite comfortable at the moment. He's putting quite smoothly, and if everything goes right here with these three reds opened up, I can't see Brian coming back to the table, because every ball's either over a pocket or off a cushion.
Yeah.
So if Cale fires up, as we know he can, he might just clear up here.
So far, good quality frame, and for anybody that's tuning in online, appreciate a text message to make sure we're coming loud and clear. It's Rob Higgins talking with Tony Fridman. Tony, of course, the dad of Mark Fridman, who's playing for the juniors in Victoria, and we'll see Mark in action again tonight against Alex Pace, who's the reigning Australian under-18 junior champion. I'm sure it's going to be another tip-top match. In fact, it was a close match today.
Yeah, it was close. I mean, there was a couple of frames could have gone either way. You know,
yeah.
First frame was down to the pink ball as well. Second frame was down to the pink, and Mark just missed the clearance. He was on a 25 break, and he missed the pink.
On the pink ball. Yep.
Yeah, and that would have made it 1-1, and Alex, got his back up and put some good balls in the next frame. And Mark came back quite well, but we'll see how he goes. Mark's really loves his playing, and if you go on the VBSA website and go to the juniors page, there's all the awards there. There's several photos as you scroll down, and marks basically in every photo. It's the under 18, under 21, under 16. He's either a runner-up or a winner in the billiards or the snooker. So he just absolutely loves it. He can't wait to get home from school, and he gets on the table and has a hit. And sometimes we've got to order him to do his homework, but give him some depth so that he realises that you've got to go to school to be smart.
Yep.
And once you're smart, you can play this game.
Well, so far we're seeing a quality frame in action here. There's only been a few strokes in it, so the boys have turned it on. They must realise they're on TV, and they've fired up, which is great. And we hope that a few people have logged into the live web stream provided by TAS Q Sports. The old commentators curse there, so if you give them a rap, they happen to miss a stroke. But anyway.
Oh, that's nice. That's a break of 54 for Ryan and a break of 40 for Cale.
Yep.
So far. Yeah. Mentioning about the venues, the other bonus is obviously we've got the commercial club in Albury has just taken their snooker room upstairs. Put all the new tables up there and made it a fantastic venue as well, for which the Oceania is coming up in 2 weeks' time. We've got massive billiards players coming there, and and snooker players from all over Australia. Obviously, a good sign for that is that the winner of the Oceania gets a opportunity to play on the Pro Tour, and everyone's quite envious, to get their talent up there, and people look at the game and see players like Ryan here and Cale, and they've certainly got the talent to take the game on the Pro Tour, and the experience that comes with it is just massive.
Well, he's got a nice break there. He's got out of the snooker. It looks like he's got. Oh no, he can hit the yellow. We're watching on the TV just in case we get some of the calls wrong. Sometimes the angles look a little bit trickier than the live situation. But so far, quality frame between two quality players who are going places in obviously in snooker in Australia. Yeah.
Ryan's been overseas quite a bit. He's actually come back especially for this tournament. He's been overseas. He does a lot of practice with Neil. Him and Neil are quite good friends, and he often goes over and plays with Neil on his table, practices with him, and now that Kurt's there, Kurt's part of that because they've obviously all grown up together, and it's good to see the support that Neil does give for all the Australian players. It doesn't matter who it is. Even like I said, when he comes back for the Australian Nationals, he comes in and always puts his hand out and says hello, Tony, and to me, and every other player that he sees, he always says hello and asks how you.
Well, it's a great shot by Ryan. It's
a great shot.
He's mathematically going to hurt Cale here, I think. Just having a quick look at that score, 17, 18, oh no.
Cale needs a snooker.
Snooker, yep.
He's 19 points behind with 18 on the table.
Yep. And Cale's not bothered to chase the snooker, so first frame to Ryan Thomerson of Victoria over Cale Barrett, the Tasmanian snooker champion. Telecasting live out of the Launceston Workers Club in Tasmania. This is the 45th Andrews-Atkins Shield, which is Victoria versus Tassie match, the oldest continuous team Q Sport in Australia. Second to the ANI or Railway Tournament, which has been going for 51 years, I think. So we're doing okay, and hopefully on target to play the 50th in Victoria. And hopefully on the round, and Tony, you and I might be able to share some commentary at that same stage, which would be terrific. So
yeah, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, it's quite good. This first time I've been to the Workers Club here in Launceston, and it's a great little club. We've got one table here out that with the cameras on, That's a nice break. Just in behind there, that's lovely. And then there's 3 competition tables are identical to this in the room that's just off this area behind the wall, and the billiards is going on in there at the moment, and 2 other snooker matches. There's a shot to nothing, so he's...
Just for those that have tuned in and not understanding the format, there are 11 players in each of the team. 6 senior snooker players, as we call them, 3 billiard players, a junior and a woman. The snooker matches over the best of 5 frames. Meanwhile, the billiard players, all 3 in each team, play each other, and they're over 1 hour. And it's a point scoring system, so a win in snooker is worth 3 points. And the billiard guys, it's worth 2 points as this. They play 3 matches as opposed to the snooker, and a double format. So if you listed 1 in your team, you play the 1 and 2 in the opposing team. And
Anna and 2 was quite a good game. Last night Anna was potting all the balls and potting quite comfortably. Made a couple of nice little breaks of 20 odd, and she got Sue 3-zip. And then today, Sue turned the tables, and she got Anna 3-zips. That's a good competition there. And are they playing again, or they don't play?
No, they played 2 matches, the same as the men's snooker. The first year of this new format, they actually played 3 times over the best of 3 frames, the same as the juniors. But after we did a review of it, it was probably the match was too short at best of 3 frames, so we brought it in line. The same with the men's, so they play each other twice. It was either that or have a second woman player or a junior, but we decided to stay with the tried and true formula of 11 players per team. Essentially costs and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, I think the idea, what you said before about the billiards having a 3-hour match, and then changing it to 3 1-hour matches, presents some, a good way of doing it, because then a lot more people get on the table, a lot more times, and it's the same amount of time, 3 hours or 3 1-hour matches.
Yeah.
So that's
plus involved in every session. We're at one stage under the old format. If you played on the Friday night, which you were listed at number 2, which is the old format, that was it for the weekend. And then if you weren't a party beast or a social animal, you hung around for 2 days. And but this way, the billiard guys probably ended up being the winners. They play in all 3 sessions last night, today, and tonight. So the same 3 players. So
yes.
Curiously, one of the comments that were made as to the ability of the players, the 3 playing the ones, and a chap that mentioned it to me in the first year actually was the number 3 for Victoria, defeated our number 1 player, and I sort of missed his point because he actually defeated our number 1 player. So ability-wise, there probably is going to be a difference between the number 1s and number 3s, but by and large, the shorter version of the game just tends to lend itself to a bit of volatility, a bit like 2020 cricket. Like you get 1 today and 100 tomorrow. So over an hour, you've got to get on your bike.
Yeah, that's for sure. I'm lucky enough to have some great billiard players playing out of my club that I play out of in Cheltenham, which Ron's been a member there for 30 odd years as well, and so have I. Ron Cole, who's the president of the VBSA, and we're lucky enough to have the Victorian billiards champion, who's Rod Nelson, last year's billiards champion. He's a resident there, and he plays billiards out of the club.
Good guy, Rod. He's played in this before, this tournament,
yes,
Andrews-Atkins.
Many times, and he probably would have played, but Rod's now working. He's actually a barista, a restaurateur, and he's working, so he limits his competition time down to the main comps, and just isn't able to at this stage go away that much. He hasn't been away to championships, and the only ones he's been doing are other Victorians tournaments. He hasn't been away to any tournaments.
Yeah.
And we're also lucky enough to have an old stalwart of the billiards game, Eric Worsley.
Oh yes, I know Eric.
Yeah, Eric is a master at the nursery cannons, and have quite a few. Ryan's just missed there, and Cale's back in, and. Eric, Eric is a master at the nursery cannons, and have quite a few. Have quite a few. Ryan's just missed there, and. Cale's back in, and. Cale's back in, and. Ryan's just missed there, and. Cale's back in, and. Ryan's just missed there, and. Cale's back in, and. Cale's back in, and. Eric's, gets sought after by many of the top billiards players, just to teach them a little bit about his knowledge. And he did some nursery cannons last year at one of the clubs. I think it was the Keong Tennis Club there, and the Keong guys are all top billiard players. I mean, Don Richter, who's an ex-Victorian champion many times, used to play out of the South Yarra Club 30 odd years ago. Harry Andrews also played out of the Keong Tennis Club. Keong is quite a fantastic venue because it's got the they've got quite old tables and old Alcock tables, and they're underneath the club. There's like a section underneath the club, and it's cut away from the rest of the club, from the restaurant and the courts, and absolutely beautiful tables. Everyone always looks forward to playing there. A little bit similar to this club. It's got 3 tables and a great intimate venue, to play at. So you get a lot of good players, and one of the players from Victoria, David Cosgriff, he's a resident at Kooyong, and also Charlie Chafe, who's represented Australia many times, won quite a few tournaments. He has played snooker out of Kooyong Tennis Club as well.
You mentioned Don Richter before, and probably a lot of people wouldn't be aware of this, but he was the driving force behind getting the Goldfields venture underway with the professional players coming out to, and I was lucky enough for the 5 years of that it was going, that a colleague of mine, Terry Collins, only 3 Australians and 2 Tassies managed to go up and do refereeing and do all the scoring and all that sort of thing. But Don played in this event as well many times, many years ago, in the Ganem era and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was looking at the boards in your snooker room there, and I saw quite a few names that are quite familiar to us all. The Peter Hawkes and Stan Gorski and the Margaret Gorski, and Sam Fitzgerald, who's also, he was a great junior as well. There were some really good names in there, and must have been a lot of fun had, let me tell you. But that's an interesting story you talk about the Goldfields, because the Goldfields itself was sponsored by Vic Tourism, and obviously Don Richter was the one that got it happening and organised the sponsorship and that. And a lot of people used to say, well, why would you put it in Bendigo? Well, you got to understand one thing. By putting it in Bendigo, it's bringing finance and culture to something that's not in the city of Melbourne. So it's actually taking people, and as Tourism Victoria would want people touring, and it brought quite a substantial amount of funding to Bendigo, got people to the place, put people in motels, and it was quite successful, and that's why it ran for so long. But the reason it stopped, everyone said, oh, why did it stop? It didn't actually stop. Vic Tourism disbanded into 2 separate bodies, and the 2 separate bodies obviously went their own ways, and so there wasn't one big conglomerate to sponsor the Goldfields anymore. There was 2, and which hence they had to start looking for a major sponsor to try and get in there, and very hard to do within 12 months and get it back on the road.
Plus the Bendigo Stadium was being redeveloped as well, because last year we went up, we saw the plans, and we realised that it probably wouldn't have been ready in time in any event, even if they decided to go there. I think their backup was to keep it in rural Victoria, but maybe Ballarat or move it around a bit.
Well, fantastic. And look, we must say that if it was at Crown Casino, Ryan's just set that over the pocket. We got the scores here.
I'd suspect there's another concession frame, so
yep.
Ryan leads 2 frames to 0 over the Tassie champion Cale Barrett from Tasmania. You're watching live from the Launceston Workers Club for the 45th Harry Andrews-Atkins Shield, which is the Victoria Tassie match, and 45th means it's been going for 45 years. And I'm in commentary with Tony Fridman.
Are you that old?
I'm definitely that old. I'm into my 60s. I've been around. I think in billiards snooker for 38 years.
Yeah, fantastic.
I've been lucky enough to have travelled around Australia and refereed every major event on Australian calendar, every final, Oceania. Just been given those opportunities over the years, and of course knocked around with people of the ilk of Paul Cosgriff and the Tommy Watsons and the Roger Davies and all the people out of wire to different states. So yeah, the Mounties tournament we hold dear, obviously, from 1999 when we started going up there and meeting Bob Hawke and Blanche, and yeah, just
lovely.
It's been a real hurt, and particularly the New Zealand referees who used to come across and help us with the event at Mounties, and of course I was lucky enough to be director of referees at the World 2002 Championship, which was 3.5 weeks worth, and I sort of tag team with the late Bill Orr, who was a famous name in billiards and snooker, and yeah, so I managed to referee the final of the 50 up between which I think Ashok Chandelier from won that particular one. It was the inaugural one. Okay. It was a race to 50 at that stage and a best of 21. Of course, now they modified the format to 150 up and managed to do the final in South Australia, 150 up final the previous year when Frank Tillins sent out the SOS call for the shortage of referees, and Terry Collins and myself, who were both very wounded at the time, carrying a few illnesses, went up under some duress and answered the call, but yeah, did our bit for the game sort of thing. So we tend to have scaled back our involvement on the national scene. We're looking at the likes of Kim Ivet, who's really flying the flag for Tassie, and a female referee and a talented referee, and the next Michaela Tab, quite frankly.
Well, let me tell you, I've known Kim's dad for many years.
John.
30, 35 years or so I've been playing snooker. I've known John Ivet, and I remember when we had the famous Bentley tournament, of which John Higgins was a winner.
Yes.
It was the first major tournament that he'd won when he was 15 years old. I got the fantastic job of being their courtesy driver and driving to and from the hotel, him and Mark Williams. And I'll never forget, John was just, was taken to practice sessions, and they'd practice and they'd be knocking century after century, and but there were two little kids, and they said, oh, these kids are going to be world champions one day, and I'd heard it all before, and I'd gone, yeah, but they were quite good players, and that was the first major tournament John won, and I think he went back the 6 months later and won the first one in England, which was not in England, but he won the European Grand Prix. I think that was what he won next, and then he just kicked on from there. And
well, the next year after that, John Ovett did the final. Chris Small actually won that because I was on the scoring. I was up there that year refereeing. Yeah, it was at the Bentley Club again. So, and
I remember John would bring Kim in, and Kim was probably 12 or 13 years old, and she'd be watching the snooker intensely. So she's got an amazing knowledge of the game that a lot of people don't realise that she probably knows more about the game than a lot of the players, because she's been watching the professionals and the amateurs at a top level for many years. Like I said, since she was 12 or 13. So no wonder when she presented herself overseas, she got the top job, refereeing the major matches over there, and well deserved.
To her.
Well deserved.
We always spoke highly of her, and in fact, we, Terry and I were promoting her in many senses because she's a talented referee, and she's demonstrated that, her results overseas and on the national scene and all that kind of thing. And she was driving us around there one year at Goldfields because we were staying at the same place, the Quest, and so she was giving us a lift, and it was that cold there one morning, I reckon we sat in the car for 10 minutes to get the ice off before we managed to get underway and got to the stadium, which was just as cold. But of course the table nicely climate heated at 50 degrees, or it was 49.9, 50, 50.1. You could see the little light all the time. But yeah, no, her and Dad and John, who was the doyen of referees, and had a fantastic program in place with the Victorian referees, set apart from the rest of Australia, really.
Yeah, we still see John. He
He's getting back into it, as I understand. Like he had a bit of a hiatus there for a while.
Yeah, he's sort of having a bit of a retirement and a rest, and having a bit of enjoyment, R&R, and at the finals, the pennant finals, he turned up last year. And I think he turned up at the City Melbourne tournament finals as well, and he's always been there and always been a supporter of the game as well, and a very adamant referee too. I mean, when he sees it, he sees it. He is quite confident on, as some people sort of say, oh, I might have missed that, but not John. John never missed a thing.
Nothing gets past John. He was a referee always revered when I was watching referees for different techniques, and of course I was lucky enough to get a crack at refereeing just about all the finals, and you need what's the word? You need people to look up to, and he was certainly someone that I looked up to and admired over a period of time.
Yeah, he certainly was, and he was around during the time of those tournaments, and those Bentley Club tournaments, which were Australian Opens. Like I said, we had the likes of John Higgins and Mark Williams playing in. We also had the 147 man, the man that knocked in more 147s at that stage than anyone else, and that was Willie Thorne.
Yep.
He came and he made the semi-finals. It was put out by John Higgins as well. We also had Anthony Hamilton.
That's right.
We had a policeman from Korea, I think. Korea, his name Sakchoi, no, Singapore, I think. Sakchoi, and he was amazing. He was a policeman and played snooker for an outlet, and was just an absolute gentleman. And, he hardly went through a session without knocking in a big break, and then in the final he knocked in a 120 odd clearance to win the match, and after he won it, he went around and shook everyone's hand and bowed to everyone. It was just felt so honoured, and to watch him, and he was honoured to have everyone there watching him.
Yeah.
He was a great character and a great player as well. We also had Peter Ebden. Now there's another one.
Yep.
Peter Ebden was here for the Bentley tournament as well, and I'll never forget. I played 8-ball for many years, and we had a challenge match against Eddie Charlton. He came to our club, and he said, we'll play 80 players, and if one of them beats me, you don't pay the fee for me, and we donate it to charity. So at the time I was playing quite well, and I was involved in the Victorian state team and that, and I got to play him first, and I was the first one to beat him, and he said to me, you're not supposed to do that. He said, I'm supposed to win, I'm the champion. Anyway, I beat him, and it went on, and he said, I won't forget that. And then he came for the Bentley tournament, and he came into practice, and he said, oh, you're the guy that beat me at 8-ball. And I said, yes. He said, well, I'm here to practice for the tournament. He said, would you like to give me a few games of snooker? And I said, certainly. So we played for 4 hours of snooker, and he never knocked in less than 50 break. A couple of them were centuries. I never won a frame. And he just turned to me and he said, you see, I said I'd get you back one day, and I did. I'm glad I'm not going to get you in the tournament. Yeah, and Eddie was already in his 60s, so and playing, just on 60, and playing really well. So the good thing about this game, and the billiards as well, is it can be played at any age, and as we can see, in the Tassie team, we've got on Monday he's going to be 81-year-old or 80.
80. It's Grenville Brown from the northwest coast.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, fantastic. And to watch him play, he was playing well.
Yep.
Fantastic. You can. They're good. Like I was saying before, it's a easy game to play and a hard game to play well, and you can carry it with you, till you're 90 odd.
Yeah, exactly. Just looking at this frame now, and Carl's on a break of 54 and 61 lead, and that blue ball, effectively, this is his frame. So we look like we're going to have 2-1 and have a contest on our hand. In case you've just joined the telecast, Tassie champion who's just queuing up now, Cale Barrett from North West Coast. He's playing one of Australia's best players in Ryan Thomerson from Victoria. It's the 45th Harry Andrews-Atkins Shield being played at the Launceston Workers Club in Tasmania. Gave him a rap and it didn't really matter, but he's missed the ball. I suspect it will be a concession, which it is. So Ryan leads 2 frames to 1. I'm in commentary at the moment with Tony Fridman, and in fact Tony's son Mark is co-sharing the refereeing with Alex Pace. They had a great battle earlier on today, and they'll front up again tonight. So the 2 juniors in the team. Snooker is over the best of 5 frames. The billiards is 60 minutes. 11 players per team. This is the last match in this session, which hopefully we're going to finish about 2:45, 3 o'clock. There'll be a break, and the next session will be at 6:45. Finish off with some supper and presentations and a few frothies, and tomorrow a function organised by the Tassie Association. So far it's gone really well. Particularly the sponsors. I need to give a sponsors plug-in while they're racking up. New sponsor this year is LBC Consulting and Auditing, which is effectively Rex Swain, who's the state president of the association. He's come on board as our major sponsor. The Colonial on Elizabeth, where all the players, officials and whoever, guests are staying. The Launceston Workers Club, obviously. Brothers, my brother Les and Dave and I have chipped in. Of course, the Italian Pizza House, Heath Watson, thanks to the team. They supplied us with the pizzas last night. And JS Design, custom-made bow ties. It's Rob and Jenny Steele. So got a few people on board who've chipped in a few dollars to make it all tick over. And yeah, so hopefully at home you're getting a good spectacle. And we've, Tony and I have got an armchair ride, so to speak. We're sitting and watching it on a TV, even though the table's in the room, further down the room. So
yeah, best seat in the house.
Yeah, best seat in the house.
Comfy. I think Mark's just found a spot on the corner of the couch and looks very comfortable. Cale's just missed.
We need Mark back on the table, so he managed to get Cale over the line. So we want you back out there, mate. Well, I do.
Yeah, very nice break by Cale as well, 60-odd break, so the highest break so far. Are you aware of the highest break of the tournament, or are you not?
No,
sure?
I'm not. I suspect that would be pretty close somewhere. We've, strangely enough, in this tournament, we have had some good breaks over the years, but I think Charlie knocked in one at the Burnie Club of about 90, close to a ton, but I don't think we've had a century break in the snooker for a while. We certainly had one in the billiards by David Bates of 170, which was 2 years ago. So it's pretty.
I thought Jason Colebrook knocked in. Did he knock in a century the other day?
Did he? I might have missed his break. Yeah.
Someone was talking about it, but I'll check that.
Yeah.
And,
would be not unsurprising with Jace. He's quite a talented billiard player and a billiard passionate, actually.
Yes, absolutely. He helps with all the billiard tournaments and also running of the billiards comps, and that's a nice pot, very nice pot. With Billiards Australia. So yeah, Jason, he's quite passionate about it, which is great. Great for all involved. Ryan's going for the red here. He's knocked it in, and he's just left the white. I think just nice to get down. He might stun this and get down.
I just got an update on one of the scores that I was chasing. One of my proteges, or my adopted son, so Luke Webb from Tassie, managed to get up and defeat Rod Nelson 3 frames to 1. So that's one for the Tassies at least, and knocked in a 59 in the process. So yeah, good going, Luke.
Who was that, Rod Nelson?
Yeah. Rod Nelson. How about Brendan Taylor? Rod Nelson on the brain. See, we don't forget the good old players.
Yeah,
but
I actually spoke to Rod 2 days before we came up. I saw him at the club, and I said to him, "You've been to a couple of these." He said, "Oh, they're fantastic tournaments, and they're really quite something special. The comradeship and the gamesmanship, which I think he said he's been to 5,
Yep.
And
speaking of old world charm clubs, is traditionally been playing at a place called the Burnie Club, which is a heritage listed club. And the accommodation, if you imagine we're sitting in this lounge room and it's probably about 30 or 40 feet away, and you can sit out on the balcony, and then the guys stagger back sometimes from the night sessions, and the accommodation right next door. So so much so the Victorians loved it so much that they played a year out of turn. So they came to Tassie twice, come over on the Thursday, played golf at Penguin, and had the tournament, and had a meal upstairs, 2-course meal and free drinks before the Friday session, and yeah, it was pretty full on. We did that for a number of years, but we decided selfishly or otherwise to try it in Launceston, to try and get Ron Atkins along, obviously. Ron not in the best of health, and sort of travelling's a bit of an issue, but it's great that he's been here last night and today, and he's still here.
He's got a great smile, and he's travelling a little bit slow, but he's still there, and I reckon he could still probably pick up a cue and have a hit. But you know, he's looking good, and Leanne's here with him, and it's good to see her as well. You've got to remember, I was a member at the Bentley Club when Ron and Harry were both the A-grade players there, along with other well-known players as well, like Rodden Beggs, who's been around for many years, and you know, the famous Dickie Davis, Richard Davis, and we've had Quentin Hand play at the Bentley Club as well, as part of the A-grade team. Scotty Matthews, who came up through the juniors as well, and you know, Brett Rogers played a couple of seasons there as well, who also came up through juniors as well. So we've
good player, Brett, when he was on song.
Fantastic. He won the Bentley, not the Bentley tournament, but the Yarraville tournament one year, and knocked in a 137 break. You know, and you know, we're talking, you know, 25, 26 years ago. So you know, and you know, so these guys were. Oh, there's another good shot by Ryan. He's nicely broken out a red out of the pack.
It's only early days in this frame with 47, but there's ominous signs that Ryan may go on and win this particular match 3-1. I won't call it just yet, but he's got the opportunity, depending on where he finishes after he pots this red, which I'm anticipating he will.
Yeah,
depending on his position on the black, he might be able to scatter a few of these reds. So we'll.
Oh, you never know here, but
I won't give him the commentator's curse to choose. No,
we won't do that.
See it all unfold.
They'll do what they say over there, and they say, "Oh, we're not going to put the Mozza on, so
yep.
We won't." But looking good. It's a 48 break so far. And
55. I can't see my camera angle. I'm not sure. I think that red to the right-hand side may be on, but he might be coming back.
Well,
he's tried to scatter, but compromised the stroke.
Yeah, just that little bit of side, just pushed it out a little bit further than he thought, and that's the thing when you're playing on tables that you're basically playing a comp on, and not playing on every day. The allowance for side just changes very very slightly, and that can just throw you out that little bit. Just a little bit. Oh, how unlucky.
Carl's been a little bit unlucky there.
It was a fantastic pot, and he screwed back to get on one of the colours, and just unluckily went into that centre pocket. But
so we're starting to get into danger territory with only 75 points available on the table, and of course Ryan's got a pretty sizable lead of 52. So. A little bit of work in front of Cale here. I can't. The back red, second red is exposed. But
also another one that plays at the RACV club there, Ian Dale. You can see him in the background there with David. They both play billiards at the RACV club. And remembering when Harry Andrews and Ron Atkins were also members of the Bentley club, Ian Dale was a member there and played in the team as well, along with Diane, who's also an Australian ladies champion for many, many years, and secretary of the...
and played in this tournament as the woman player as well.
Yes, I saw that on the wall in there. You know, and she was quite a formidable player and always difficult to beat. Great curist, and she was the secretary of the Australian Billiards and Snooker Association.
That's right.
So supported supported Snooker and Billiards for
I think she was on
many years as
council. I was certainly on council at the time when she was definitely a member as well.
Yeah, so we, you know, Ron Atkins and Harry Andrews have you know, been involved in the club at many levels with a lot of people, a lot of different people, you know.
Yep.
And they
Just talking about Ian Dale, just as an aside, and I've known Ian for, oh gosh, 30 plus years. Every year for my birthday, and I share a birthday with my brother Les. We're exactly 10 years apart on October 13th, and Ian is either the 11th or 14th. I always get a message and or a card, you know, happy birthday, boys. And when Goldfields was initiated, he would drive from Melbourne, drive us up to Bendigo, drop us off. We'd do our shopping for the week because we were there for effectively 9 days, then drive back to Melbourne. Didn't expect any payment. He picked Terry Collins and myself up at the airport and just did that, you know, and we had a fantastic camaraderie. And even though he's not in this team, and he always was a billiard player, he's still elected to come over, and we've obviously put him to work because we've had him refereeing, we're in commentary, we'll be on the TV game tonight. So yeah, you don't run across people like that. Oh, it's a great shot by Cale.
Great pot.
That's a huge shot.
Yeah, you don't come across what he's saying.
No, it was not something we asked for. It was something he offered, and we tried to give him money or leave money in his glove box and all that sort of thing. But yeah, no, one of the nice guys, and of course, member of the Australian Council.
I did say a great pot by Ryan. It's a great pot by Cale.
Cale, yeah.
Cale is making a comeback now, and the balls are open again. So let's see how he goes here.
So say mathematically he's right in this, and you'll notice that apart from the pink, the other balls are on their spots, which the purists love, particularly if they can get a dash at them. Probably doesn't want this too close to the rail, but he's
That's a great shot.
He knocked in a nice century in his local comp. I noticed this year. This is Cale, I think 116 or something on really tough tables, as they call them. Like if you made a 40 or 50 break, it was 100, as we used to refer to at Penguin. But he knocked in 100 plus. So, you know, he's
just rolled a little bit too far. Let's see how he goes with this. All the balls are off the cushion, so all very potable, but difficult pot here. But let's see how he goes. He might screw this off the side cushion and get on the black.
Yep. And of course, if he plays through, which I thought he might, he's got the opportunity of the pink. Hopefully it stays exposed, but no. Yeah, half chance. Be interesting to see what he does play here.
Yeah, he's only 27 in the frame, is it? Is that the score? The break is 25. Sorry.
Yeah, his break's 25, so he's got a score of 35. So
35. So
he's only 17 points adrift and 27 available. So he's.
Nice shot. That's a great shot. That's a great shot.
We watched a quality match so far, Tony. We've got to have to say. They're not mucking around, they're not taking prisoners, and they're potting the balls, and the crowd has built up in behind us, and witnessing a great spectacle live. And as you said, we've got the best seat in the house. We're watching on the telly like you are at home. Done it again. Our commentator's curse. I'm not going to say anything anymore. We'll just talk about stuff.
Well, he's left it so that Ryan has to stretch it a little bit, and Ryan's put an extension butt on his cue, so he's stretching a bit. But the good thing about stretching with an extension is you get a better side of much better side of the ball. He's missed that, but as you use your cue as your sight, you can extend it right out. So you know, even though it looks a bit awkward, it's still possible to continue a good break with it. But Cale's having a good look at this. and potted it comfortably. Just see where that white lands for him. Run a little bit, but it's I think it still might be on there.
Probably wants Salty to swing to the low angle, but he's not going to do it. No, he was
obviously couldn't see that. I thought he might have been able to see it, but...
Drift. Tassie's a barracan for the white, but it's not happening. And just for the interest of the people online, tonight's matches, Cale Barrett plays Charlie Chafe on this table that you're watching now. In the billiard room, Jared Wicks takes on Rod Dunham, and I had a text message from Kurt, tongue-in-cheek. He says, "Is there any chance you could swap Dad onto the TV table?" So I gave him my tournament director's answer, which was no, a blunt no.
Well, if he wants to see him, he could FaceTime him if he wants to see him.
And on table 2 will be Denny Main against Ryan Thomerson, and then, of course, the second TV table game will be Mark, son Mark, up against Alex Pace, so a rematch of today's match. And then in the billiards, we'll have Graham Pickett against Jason Colebrook. So the one's playing the ones, two's playing the twos. Steve Cowie, David Cosgriff, Grenville Brown going against Ronnie Cole. And that will finish the Andrews-Atkins Shield. So.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, Kurt played last night. And, all the boys were quite excited. And... they were all gathering together to watch the match, and it was close apparently, but Kurt didn't get over the line. But Kurt's a fantastic ambassador for this country, and obviously Tasmania as well.
Yep.
He is a Tassie.
First Tassie born pro, even though James Giudaris turned pro, he was not Tasmanian born. But Kurt, Rod and Kathy lived in Tassie and born and bred here, so
yeah, we call him the Tasmanian Devil. Cool. That's the name we got for Kurt. You're the Tasmanian Devil, and devil he is, but a nice devil, and always been a gentleman. He had the pleasure of playing A grade with Kurt at King's, which has just closed down recently, and King's held a few tournaments there as well, and Kurt played in the A grade there, and always. Hardly ever lost a match. Always played well, always a gentleman at the table. What a fantastic shot that is. Fantastic shot.
Conducted himself very well. Of course, the winner of the National Six Red Championship at this very venue last year, and unfortunately couldn't go and represent in Egypt because he'd just been given the spot on the main tour, and that option was then taken up by my brother Les, Luke Webb and Tracy Barlis, who travelled to Egypt for the 11 or 12 days that they were away representing Australia.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, Kurt's over there, and talking to his dad, and he just said he absolutely loves it, and he's given himself a chance. Ryan's
he wants this in the pocket. This is the best outcome for Cale.
Probably not the best thing to go into the pocket,
no.
Because it gives ball in hand for Cale, and from this position you'd probably say it's looking pretty good.
I'm not going to buy into this. I have to get beaten up on the last call. I'm staying right out, Tony. Nice weight.
Just a great shot.
Just shy of the middle.
Great shot. He's getting egged on a lot from the Tassie here, and the VICs are looking on behind, as you can see. Great pot.
So,
and that's the frame.
2 frames all.
So it's now 2 frames all, and
fitting result. Just the way the quality of the match has been played. It hasn't been underway for all that long. I'm not sure if we had a time clock on it, how it would be going. But you're watching the 2017 Andrews-Atkins Shield, the 45th event being played at the Launceston Workers Club in Tasmania, and sitting in commentary with me is Tony Fridman. His son Mark is just about to go to the table and referee the last frame and deciding frame. And of course Mark will be in action tonight against the defending under-18 snooker champion in Alex Pace from Tassie. So looking forward to that rematch. And that'll be on. We'll be able to live stream that out. And best part about this, Tony, is they're on YouTube. there forever. So you can download them, and we get a copy, and which we've done. We've had a few matches we've sent over to people to have a look at, and hey, I think it's the way to go for the future. We might have 50 or 100 people here or something like that, but who knows? You know, a number of people watching online. We watched the National 6 red hits go up. We had probably a couple of hundred when the tournament was on, but I think if we hit the website now, we probably have 800-900 hits. Not huge by web standards, but in terms of what we're trying to do from state to state, quite relevant.
Yeah, it's fantastic because I mean it just opens up the door, and anyone from anywhere, like you're saying, little Kurt's tuned in and watching as well. You can watch it from anywhere in the world. I mean, it's changed from 20 years ago. It's changed from 10 years ago, that's for sure. And when I went to a school, I know I'm not that old, but when I went to school, there was no such thing as a computer.
No. Unfortunately, I got a rude awakening to it in about the late 80s, 90s, and I got into programming, and now I live by it, particularly iPads and things like that. You can't. And if I leave my phone alone and go up into somewhere else, someone will ring me and say, "Why aren't you answering your phone?" But
frame's just started, and our camera guy's just headed off.
So
refreshment.
Yeah. So we can now see the TV. So our advert's gone. So Tony and I are back to watch the last frame, and I don't know. It's even money. It's anybody's game. It looks as though whoever gets in punishes the other player.
Yeah, it's both guys are potting well, and it's a matter of who, like you said, who gets in. So they're going to be playing very cautiously here.
Yep.
As you can see.
A big thanks to TAS Q Sports for their live streaming, or Andrew Saltmarsh or Salty. Done a great job. I had a real privilege in them seeing the National 8-Ball Championships at the Launceston Casino a few months back, and we were lucky enough to get a rep into the world team in Jeremy Maguire, and this is 8-Ball I'm talking about now, and Paul, but they had in excess of 200 competitors. They had 250 at their dinner, and booked a joint out for a week or so, and when I talk about Q Sports, 8-Ball's integral to that, and billiards and snooker, and even though I've got a billiards and snooker hat, I've played both games, and we've got some really good colleagues amongst the billiards and snooker, or the Q Sports family as we call it. So yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic. Well, they're all part of the same family, as you say. So there's a tempting ball near the centre pocket, but both guys are neglecting to be tempted because they know that if they leave the other...
Miss Redder's tracking... Oh, no.
That went straight in. So, very tactical here. They know if...
Well, there's a big opening. There's a couple of reds hanging around the middle, so he's... this is...
You can get quite dangerous.
Dangerous situations here if you don't land properly.
Because both of these players are quite capable of...
that red, he may actually be on.
One that's there. So they're having a couple of shots here, hoping to get one in and maybe play the snooker. Just see how this pans out. And like you're saying, it's just at this level, any one of them could take the frame out given the opening.
I mean, it's good to see Ryan in particular, because seeing the father and son combination, and we've had them over the years, particularly with the Misfits, when we had Bill Misfit, the dad, James and Steve, all played in this tournament and all played in it at one time. In fact, Bill won a clutch match when Victoria defeated Tasmania 6-5 many moons ago, but Bill beat Graham Pickett, and Graham Pickett was at his height at that stage, and he's playing really well billiards, and as I said, we've had the Misfits, now we've got the father and son combo of Ryan and Paul, and and so it continues. So it's
fantastic. Admit, that's a great shot too. He's kept him out. I think he snookered him on that. Oh no, you might be able to just see that red. met Bill Mifsud many times as Steve was and James were, growing up, and played comp against Bill once or twice. Bill was more of a head-on billiards player. He hardly ever saw him in a snooker game, but every now and then he'd fill in, and I came across him a few times. Always a gentleman, and very nice, and both Steve and James Mifsud have both turned out to be very fine snooker and billiards players, both of them, and gentlemen at the table and off the table as well.
Yeah.
Privilege, and
I've been lucky enough to referee both of them on innumerable occasions, and you're right. Could the quality people, gentlemen, and never saw any dummy spits, and not saying it happens much in billiards and snooker, but we have had some characters over the time that,
Yeah, but
don't smash their cue like the tennis players smash their rackets, but
yeah, Steve and both James always, if Mark's not at the comp or playing in the team with me, always ask how he's going and what's he been doing, always show some interest, which is great because they both came up through the junior ranks as well, and and support. James actually and Steve both come to the junior comps in Victoria and help with the administration as well, which is nice to see.
Yeah.
Both strongly support the game and the players. That's a nice pot there. He's on a break of 23.
So Ryan's made the early running in the 5th frame. This is the last frame, in fact the last match. All other matches have been completed for a little while. We'll resume play at approximately, I think we might be starting the Cale match, Cale Barrett that is, and Ryan match, Charlie, sorry, at probably 6:15. The other matches will probably get away at 6:45. There are 7 matches to be played tonight, which will finalise the shield. I'm unsure of the actual standing right at this point in time because I've been occupying this seat with you, but once we get the results update, when we go live to air, I'll read all the results so far if anybody's following it online to tell you who won what and how and why. But this is at an interesting stage. Probably only takes one loose shot here to run into a bit of trouble.
Yeah, he's played it with a reasonable amount of safety, not to let the white run, and he's got Cale's got a shot here. Not easy, but he's got a shot. Let's just see what happens. Wasn't easy. Hard to judge from the distance, but look, he might have got a bonus out of this.
Yeah, just made it a little bit awkward there.
It's quite a difficult shot there to...
Saw a great match last night with the big fella, Darryl Tippett and Phil Woodham. Ended up being a respotted black. 3-2 going Darryl's way, and Woody, as he's affectionately known, didn't muck around when he was put into break. He decided to try and have a crack at doubling the black. Why wouldn't you? But didn't quite work out, and so Darryl managed to prevail in that. So we've had a few close matches, and that often happens over the years. Sometimes the devil's in the details, they say. When you look at the fine detail, we might have lost a black ball here or there. It might have changed the whole context of the weekend.
Yeah, Darryl's been playing for many years, and he's quite deceiving. He jokes a little bit around. He has a good pot by Cale. He has a few jokes, and you think, oh, he's going to get to the table and joke around a bit, but he gets down to the balls and just slams them in.
won a tremendous match. I think around about 2010 he defeated the then Tasmanian champion Greg Watt at the Burnie Club. The match was the old format of 1-on-1, so it was 5-all. Come down to Darryl's game and Greg's, and Darryl got the VICs over the line, much to it was a huge roar that went up in the Burnie Club then, and it was a packed house. You could hear a pin drop until he potted the clutch ball.
So wouldn't have been impressed.
No.
Yeah, Darryl. I've played Darryl quite a few times, and also a member at my current club at Cheltenham. He was for many years playing out of the A grade, and so I've known him for many years. And he's, you wouldn't want to be playing for $50 because he's got every chance of taking it off you. He's quite a good player.
A good competitor.
Good competitor and good potter of the ball. Always has been since I've known him.
I think he's missing that TAB here because all the venues we've played at over the years, it's always been mandatory as a TAB, and unfortunately the Licensed Workers Club hasn't got it. But there is one just around the corner, so as soon as we've finished here, no doubt the boys will be into it.
I think they might be. I think there's big Caulfield races today.
That's right, Blue Diamond Stakes Day, yeah.
Big race. Yeah, I know the queue that Darryl uses is a very old queue. It's probably 25 years old. One of the national Singapore snooker champion, his name was Alan Chua. At the time, he came over for the Bentley tournament, or the Australian Open as it was called. And he came to my club for practice down to Cheltenham and had a lovely cue. I said, "Do you mind if I have a hit with your cue?" And he said, "No, have a hit." So I had a hit with his cue, and the cue was fantastic. Ryan's going to try and not leave something on here. Might be lucky.
I had a pretty good fist of it, actually, as it's turned out.
Oh, there's a couple of balls that can be potted here. Nothing easy.
No.
Yeah, anyway, so I had a hit with the cue, and I said to Alan Chua, I said, "Would you want to sell this cue?" He goes, "No." He said, "It's my cue. I will need it for the tournament after the tournament." He said, "But look, I've got another cue there." And at the time, Cale's got that. So we'll see how he works his way down the table if he can here.
Yeah.
Take advantage of this.
Presuming the green's on, which it is, and all the brown even, green looks to be.
So, Alan brought this, they were Omin cues, which we'd never heard of 30 years ago, and I mentioned it to Darryl, and Darryl said, "Oh, is it any good?" And I said, "I don't know. It's Omin." He said, "I've never heard of it." So he had a hit with it. He said, "Look, it feels okay." He said, so he bought the cue off the guy, and it's the same cue he's still using today. Great pot.
It's a great pot by Carl.
So Darryl's still got that same cue, so that belonged to the national champion of Singapore at the time. I can't remember exactly when, about 27 years ago, I'd say.
Yep.
Yeah, so.
Horse black is everything in the context of the match. If he just overhit that a bit, but
he just missed the black there. So look, there's only 20 points in the frame at the moment, and anything could happen here. There's still a possible 59 on the table. So the frame still could be anyone's at this stage. Lovely school back.
Small opening for Carl, but the last two reds are in really tricky situation, and you can see where the other colours are. There's not a lot happening apart from the black.
No, there's 25 in the frame, but you know, you tend to gain a little bit of tension, you know, when you're 2 frames all and there's enough points there to win the frame for either player.
Yep.
It creates your own tension and, you know, shots that sometimes you regularly get, you might miss if a little bit more pressure's on. But both these guys have got plenty of experience, and be interesting to see the outcome here. Got both reds on the cushion.
He's had a good look. He's trying to hold for that red on the rail, which was always going to be difficult, but main thing is to stay on the table, and he's potted the black, so it's the first assignment, so he's closed the gap, as you can see. 16.32. It's always the psychology just late in the frames whenever, exactly as you said, well, either mathematically you can stay in touch, then the other guy can hear the footsteps, so to speak. So
yeah, you find that a lot of games don't. He's had a go at that, and I think he's just
bounces. He
nicely.
Might get out of it if we can get that low shot. If Salty will do us the switcheroo, which he will, hopefully.
Sitting behind the black there, so.
No, he's pretty safe.
Yeah, a lot of games don't have a high scoring of potting of balls, but have a high incidence of, you know, who can play to the better shot at the right time.
Yep.
Wins the game. So you don't necessarily need to score a lot of points to have a good match or to have a good game. It's always, that's a good shot. So it's worked out quite well.
I think that kiss was very handy. I don't think it would have got across to that pocket, but it was heading that way. No and Ryan, this should be a shot to nothing. I'm assuming you'll take this red on. No. Made a lie. He's gone around the other way.
Which could have been.
Which was always a bit of a disaster.
He just clipped the jaw there. Unlucky to clip that jaw.
Yeah.
Otherwise
he's
the
good
balls
safe.
are quite a big distance apart. But Cale's got a relatively straight shot. It's just a matter if he can get out and get on a colour.
Played for the black from our angle, our camera angle. It looked like the pink was probably the go, but maybe it was a bit skinnier than what it looks.
Obviously felt confident because if he pots his
It
black
rolls
at
through
this
on
angle,
this. Yep.
he's actually on the last red.
Yeah. Oh, he's overcut.
Or
overhit it.
As we call that an 8-ball shot. So if you miss, it's covered the
old blocker.
Yeah, covered the pocket.
I was going to say, he had Andrew Saltmarsh just reminded me, a good 8-ball man. He's done the old blocker. Didn't want to miss it on the other side. It would have exposed the red.
Now this is not far from the pocket, but it ain't an easy shot to judge the pot. He just clipped the jaw there. Very, very difficult shot to judge because it was a blind pocket, but leaving it relatively safe near the black. Oh.
Wow.
That was a fantastic shot. Didn't realise the gate was open there. It looked like it was
the shot of the match at this stage of the frame and the pressure of the situation. I can't remember where that yellow was, but I'm feeling it.
Yellow's up in the cushion up there, just out of sight.
Just out of camera sight at the moment. I was intrigued to see where we get the long shot. Salty, if you can switch for us. Overhead. Too late. Stay on that angle.
That in. It's not bad on the green here, relatively straight. This round is a very important ball here. ball. It's a bit of a natural angle to get up on the blue, but Ryan's missed that. So there's now
Cale requiring a snooker.
he has 24 points in the frame with 18 left on the table. And as you said, you know, Cale requires a snooker or a foul to be committed. And he has a snooker here.
I think we need the overhead, thanks, Sorry.
Oh, fantastic.
Perfect
That's
angle.
a full ball snooker.
Yeah, is that in off in the middle? No.
He's almost potted that coming off the cushion. At this stage, Ryan will be trying to put him over the pockets because it doesn't matter if Cale pots him, he still requires a snooker. But he also requires all the balls. So to pot them puts him one ball closer, but he still requires a snooker to get over the line here.
I think unfortunately where the blue was, he had really no options. You try and keep it out, and then you ended up. So but you're right. He's only got one ball to work with. It's just fortunate the black's on its spot, so there is a little bit of margin to play with.
This looks like a fantastic
if he's got
shot.
a bit of side on it.
Not quite. Just
with a touch more pace. That's a great shot by Ryan. It doesn't matter if it goes in or not.
To the pocket.
Mind you, didn't quite get up enough. That's the whole idea.
Obviously to keep it well away from the black, so the snooker's not available.
That's right. Doesn't give you the chance to put the cue ball behind it. And
general idea, he might have a go at this. I think he will. Done.
And that's it. Ryan Thomerson from Victoria has just defeated Tasmanian snooker champion Cale Barrett 3 frames to 2. And that ends the second session of play in the 45th Andrews-Atkins Shield, been playing at the Launceston Workers Club. Play will resume this evening at approximately 6:15, which will be opened by the Cale Barrett Charlie Chafe match. I've been in commentary with Tony Fridman. It's been a pleasure, Tony.
Thank you. Thanks very much. It's been a pleasure, and to be part of the whole experience here, and the camaraderie of the players, and the quality of the match is fantastic, and be looking forward to the next lot of matches later on.
Yep. All right, so it's Rob Higgins signing off at this point in time, and I'll get back to you later. Thank you.
Is it this one?